Prior to Week 1, few predicted the Cardinals would boast the league's best record while the Chiefs and Browns struggled, hovering around 500 at the halfway point of the regular season, yet that's exactly where we find ourselves. With all the unpredictable results in the first half of the season, 7 more underdogs won in Week 9, including the Jaguars baffling the Bills and Broncos confounding the Cowboys. Who knows what surprises Weeks 10 to 18 will bring. With 9 weeks in the books and 9 more remaining in the regular season, here's what the situation looks like as playoff races begin to really ramp up. 1. Arizona Cardinals 8-1 last week, 2-2. Green Bay Packers 7-2 last week, 1-3. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 6-2 last week, 6-4. Baltimore Ravens 6-2 last week, 7-5. Tennessee Titans 7-2 last week, 9-6. Los Angeles Rams 7-2 last week, 3. Yes, Green Bay got the edge over Arizona in their head-to-head matchup in Week 8, but we've since seen both clubs hit the field without their starting QBs and, well, the Cardinals kept rolling while there's nothing pretty about the Packers' situation right now. Meanwhile, if you could pick one QB to lead your squad in a must-win game today, it's Lamar Jackson, right? The Ravens have proven that no opponent's lead is safe, with the QB orchestrating comebacks from double-digit deficits 3 times this season already in thrilling wins over the Chiefs, Colts and Vikings. Sure, we can certainly hold it against the team for getting into those tough spots in the first place, but Jackson's ability to get the W regardless speaks volumes about his continued ability to up his game. Can we finally trust these Titans? The answer appears to be yes. A string of 5 victories that includes wins over the Rams, Colts, Chiefs and Bills allows us to label last month's loss to the Jets as simply a blip on the radar. That the victory over LA came without their MVP Derrick Henry raises their stock even higher. Speaking of LA, despite their strong 7-2 record, the Rams are the only team in this tier that could bring a little doubt. While their wins have featured some impressive offensive outputs, they've fallen short against big-name opponents like the Cardinals and Titans. Sadler 7, Buffalo Bills 5-3 last week, 5-8. Dallas Cowboys 6-2 last week, 4-9. Cleveland Browns 5-4 last week, 14-10. Cincinnati Bengals 5-4 last week, 10-11. Los Angeles Chargers 5-3 last week, 12-12. Las Vegas Raiders 5-3 last week, 8. Lots of potential with lots of inconsistency in this bunch. When the Bills are rolling, they look like the best team in the AFC. When the Cowboys are firing on all cylinders, they can keep up with all of their NFC rivals. However, the Bills and Cowboys had perhaps the 2 most baffling losses of the season this past Sunday, with Buffalo being held without a touchdown against Jacksonville and Dallas unable to put any points on the board other than in garbage time at home against Denver. The Browns had been floundering, but with the Odell Beckham Jr. saga now in the rear-view mirror, there's reason to think Cleveland can climb back into the top tier. They blew out the Bengals, who lost to the Jets the week prior after briefly taking top spot in the AFC. Johnston 13, New England Patriots 5-4 last week, 11-14. Pittsburgh Steelers 5-3 last week, 13-15. Kansas City Chiefs 5-4 last week, 16-16. Indianapolis Colts 4-5 last week, 17-17. New Orleans Saints 5-3 last week. 15-18 Denver Broncos 5-4 last week. 20. If you, like us and the rest of the football world, have been busy singing the praises of the Bills as kings of the AFC East, well, please join us in handing the mic over to the Patriots as they would like a word. Mac Jones Co. have quietly climbed the standings after back-to-back-to-back wins and now match Buffalo's win total after the Bills' dismal outing against Jacksonville. Looking at New England's outcomes through the first half of this season, they've lost by more than a single score only once, Week 3 versus the Saints, landing just shy of victories against top teams in Tampa Bay and Dallas. Suddenly, this Sunday's matchup against the 5-4 Browns just got a whole lot more interesting. Sadler 19, Seattle Seahawks 3-5 last week. 23-20, Minnesota Vikings 3-5 last week. 18-21. Atlanta Falcons 4-4 last week. 26-22, San Francisco 49ers 3-5 last week. 19-23. Carolina Panthers 4-5 last week. 21-24, Philadelphia Eagles 3-6 last week. 22-25. New York Giants 3-6 last week. 24-26, Chicago Bears 3-6 last week. 25-27. Washington Football Team 2-6 last week. 27-28, New York Jets 2-6 last week. 28-29. Miami Dolphins 2-7 last week. 29-30, Jacksonville Jaguars 2-6 last week. 30, Russell Wilson announced this week that he was cleared to return for the Seahawks just 1 month after finger surgery, and he did so with an absurd yet amazing montage to the theme song from Succession. So, wait, does that mean he's comparing himself to Logan Roy or Kendall Roy? And if so, is that a good thing? As long as he avoids any Greg the Egg tendencies, the Seahawks might be able to claw their way back into playoff contention in the back half of the schedule. Johnston following Jacksonville's shocking win over Buffalo last week, it looks like we've got a two-team race to the bottom.